Hi, and welcome to the show where addictions are left behind and success and recovery is possible. Coming to you from the Windy City is JP.
Hey, what's up? This is JP from Addiction to Success Coaching. This is episode 1. Today is March 26th of 2018. This will be my first podcast of many, I hope. The reason why I got this podcast started was the problem we are facing in society with addictions. I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm going to probably do with this podcast and the direction it's going to go. The whole goal of this is to basically get an interview during the week of somebody that has overcome addiction or has had an issue with addiction and what they're trying to do to get better, to help society, but in a better way to how to do better their recovery. Sorry, I'm everywhere in my writing. Like I said, this will be the first podcast. I heard that the first one's pretty bad, but let's go from there. Again, like I repeat, the addiction problem that we're having. A lot of people have opium problems, alcohol problems, cocaine, drugs, gambling, sex. It's everywhere. We, as society, we feel like we put a blind eye to it. Right now, the big thing that's going on is the problem with opiums. And something that there is a solution for all this. We just have to put our time and effort, and we need to help each other out. What got me here? I was born from immigrant parents that migrated to the United States. I was born in the city of Chicago. Dad, mom working. At a certain point, mom was a stay-at-home mom to take care of me and my brother. My father worked a lot, and I thought I was pretty normal household. I think it was about the age of 15 or 16 years old that I ended up going to Kelly High School, which is located on the south side of Chicago. I was just a normal kid, born in Chicago. Really nothing. Parents didn't really had set any goals for me. Just kind of go to school, do what you need to do, get a job right out after high school, and go move with your life. There wasn't really a plan. At that point, I joined the soccer team. I was pretty decent at it. I thought I had a pretty good thing going on, but I had this ego on my head that I thought I was the best player, or I thought that nobody could tell me anything what to do. I stayed after school and practice and stuff. I think my first incident that came down with drugs was I met a guy after a soccer practice that he invited me to go out to a club. You figure you're 16, 17 years old and you go into a club. Of course you can't get in. So my eyes opened up. I'm like, man, I'm being exposed to this, and this is very cool. And the first thing he did was, hey, can you do me a favor? And I said, what is it that you need? He's like, I can get you into the clubs and we can work something out, but I need you to find something for me, or I need you to sell something for me. At that point, I felt like in school, teachers respected me, and our soccer program had a big influence in the school, and I was part of it. The gentleman at that time, I don't even remember his name anymore, he gave me a sheet of little dots that looked like the little candy that you put in your mouth, the little squares. I didn't know what it was, man. I told him good. He said, sell these for $5 a square. I didn't know too much about it. Then I walked over to one of my friends. Of course, he was not in the soccer team. And I told him, I'm like, hey, man, this guy is giving me this to sell. He said, do you know what that is? And I'm like, no clue. But I can make extra money off of it and I'm rolling with it. So the guy told me it was acid. I had no idea what acid was. So I started selling this. It sucks now because I'm 35 years old, married, kids, but this is what I was doing. And as I sold this product, on the weekends I would turn in money and I would get reimbursed for the money that I was making, the profit, I guess. Saturday and Sunday, I ended up going with this gentleman at this age of 16, I think, to a club. I don't know how my parents allow this, or if even if they did, there was no way of stopping me. I was just loose. All I knew that it was about me. It was about playing soccer because that's what got me this ego to grow, and it wasn't really about anyone else. When I ended up going to the first club, I remember it was very crazy. I was a young kid around women, guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50 years old drinking. That's when I took my first actual sip. It was vodka Red Bull. It was great. I felt like I fit in. This was me. I'm like, where have you been my whole life? It was just awesome. It was an awesome feeling going back to school on a Monday and being able to tell my friends, hey, this is what I did this weekend. People start looking up to you at that point for the bad reasons now that I'm older, but this was what was going on. I kept doing it for my sophomore, junior year. About my senior year, where I had a pretty big status in what I thought in my life, I ended up leaving the soccer team and dedicating myself to me, which it was probably where my life kind of took a turn. I got introduced to cocaine. I tried it a few times. It wasn't really my thing, but I was making money off of it. I kept going to the clubs. I kept getting into clubs and bars, and I was your dealer in the clubs. I was getting the popularity that I needed. I was getting my self-esteem fulfilled. I was getting free drinks. I was getting my life going, making money, and then after that, go home. It was great. Life was absolutely great for me. Years went by. I kept that lifestyle as I've graduated from high school. I went to college, did college for a little bit. I got more involved into making money, and I knew that my thing was to make money. My parents, I felt like they still try to control me at some point, but there's only a certain thing that you can do as a father and mother, which I'm starting to realize now is you can't control your kids. And that was the very sad part. Biggest moment in my life was when I actually ended up going to a high-end club, and I was dealing with a lot of people that had Chicago status, people that you would never even think they were there, and I was taken to the VIP room. The VIP room, everybody knows, if you're involved in clubbing or anything like that, it's that room where you want to be. That's where you want to be seen, and that's the place where you want to be at. It was free drinks. It was everything was going on. I remember walking into this room with tables in it, with trays of cocaine just sitting there, with dollars bills rolled up, and people bumping lines and taking lines. Again, this was not my thing. I was enjoying the time there with the people that I was with. I was drinking, and it was okay. You know, it was okay because at home we have family parties and people drink. It was normal. But what people don't tell you is that there's a limit to it. That night, I don't remember too much what happened. All I remember is waking up at a guy's house or apartment with 4 guys and seriously taking advantage of me. I got raped, if you want to call it. I don't remember too much about it. This is where the roofies came in. I know I'm going to get so much heat or so much by me exposing myself, but I think that right now what's helping me out is I'm going to be held accountable for everything that I've done. And if I'm here to help out one person, one person only, to save their lives or help somebody out. It's my goal of this podcast and this group on Facebook that I have. After I got raped, it was shocking. You know, you get your rape effects dirty. You feel like you don't belong in society, and then you kind of get over it. And the next week, I was out again. The alcohol, it was my number one thing that used to get to me. That's the one that starts everything to me. You start drinking, that leads to something else. That leads to something else. That leads to either cheating, that leads to gambling, that leads to bigger drugs. But yeah, it's very true what they say. Alcohol is the gateway of everything else. Bringing me back to cutting that out, sad story, kept living my life like that, got into that mentality where, you know, alcohol is the thing, going out on the weekends, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. I used to have my whole week planned out, going out Monday, Tuesdays, industrial night, Wednesdays, clubs in Chicago. There is something to do every single day. If you want to go out tonight, you can go out tonight. If you want to get drunk tonight, you can get out drunk tonight. I'll tell you where I hit my rock bottom. June 26th of 2017, we were celebrating my son's birthday. We were at this really nice place in Navy Pier. We had just got out of church, and me, my wife, and my kids, we went out to eat. I had a few right after for brunch, and then after that we went to Navy Pier. Once we got to Navy Pier, there is a nice pier. Like everybody who's going to be listening to this, Navy Pier is probably one of the nicest piers that you can probably find in the United States. I kept drinking and kept drinking. I had a nice buzz going, like most of us try to hit that point. We want to have that nice buzz going and go from there. We got home, and I kept drinking. Gave the kids a bath, gave my daughter a bath, and put them to sleep. And we are very grateful to have a deck in our house. And me and my wife were outside, and I was drinking again. She had a few. She has a little bit more control over drinking than I do. I kept drinking, and things escalated. When you start drinking, you turn into a different person. I feel like your weaknesses, everything comes out. Well, at that point, my weaknesses were my insecurity, jealousy, a lot of problems that I was retaining inside my body and I had resentment for. Well, I blew up on my wife. I remember kicking her out of the house with the kids sleeping, and I don't remember much. All I remember is waking up and making a couple calls. I collect some weapons, and I remember it was a good time for me to clean my guns. I am known in a 12-step program as the guy that cleans his guns when he drinks. I remember is making one call to a family member and telling them, listen, I think I'm gonna take my life away, because at this point my wife wasn't there. I had kicked her out and I was done. I think I passed out. That was on a Sunday. Monday I had to go to work. I don't remember anything. All I remember is a couple of the guns being put away. I was able to hide some of these weapons from the family members so that they wouldn't take them all. They only took a bag of 2 of them, I believe. I don't recall much of that day. That was my big rock bottom. Next day, of course, my wife wasn't talking to me. A couple days went by. I don't remember anything. All I remember is I wanted to fix things with my wife and I needed to do something. I called at the time my brother-in-law, and he's been in a 12-step program for a while, and I told him, look, I need help. At the point where I called him, he said, all right, let me know and we can go get you the help. I was there. Next meeting, I was there. I was there after. I was there 3 times a week. Everything was going great. But I still didn't believe in this. I still don't believe that sitting in a room was going to help me in any kind of way. So that's it. I actually, today is March 26th. I am 9 months sober. I haven't touched a drink, or actually sipped a drink. I touched them, but I haven't had any. I've been in this program for 9 months. I'm very thankful for it. I can honestly tell you that it saved my life. It saved my relationship. It got me a better relationship with my kids, with my parents. I look at life a little bit different. Now, do I think that a 12-step program is the solution? No, I don't. What have I done better? It has, besides what that works for me, what I have done better is I feed myself with positive things, man. I wake up in the morning. I have readings that I do. I am very grateful to whoever you want to believe in. Could be a rock, could be God, could be a squirrel, could be the roof of the house. I don't really care what you believe in, man. There is a solution. I started feeding myself with a lot of things. I started picking up positive books. Whole mentality has changed. I provide service now, helping others. And this is where I'm at. This is something that I decided to do because I know that I'm not the only one going through this problem. We all have problems with an addiction, like I said before. We all have problems with being bipolar. We all have problems with anxiety. We all have jealousy. We all have insecurities. We all have a problem. What are you doing about it? That is really up to you. All I can say is I can sit here today and tell you is that something worked for me and we can do it together. For now, like I said, this is my first podcast. It'll probably be the most horrible podcast, but I feel really good about it. A little bit nervous because I know that once I get out there, people are going to start judging you. But I've learned that what else do I have to lose? I've already judged myself and I put myself through some really rough stuff. There's nothing else for me to lose. I am doing great now. I'm very stable in mind. I got a lot of future going on for myself. I'm coaching. I'm helping people starting businesses. I'm helping people motivate them at mornings, at nights, in the afternoons. I'm helping people with anger issues. I'm helping people with obsessions. I'm helping people as much as I can because I know at the end of the day, I am going to get everything in return twice. My goal again is to have an interview per week of somebody that has dealt with an addiction or somebody that is going through an addiction problem and what they're doing to get themselves better once a week. After that, it's going to be a lot of motivating facts in the morning, what I'm doing to stay positive in the morning, and go from there. All I can say is thank you so much. That's it, man. It's a beautiful day in Chicago. I don't know, it's about 40 degrees. It's real sunny. I have this office upstairs in my house that I hooked it up with a mic and a laptop. I got a printer, I got a chair, and this is all I need, baby. I wish you guys the best, and I will be rocking this podcast as much as I can. If you guys need me, again, there is my Facebook group, Addiction to Success Coaching. Hit me up there. I'm going to put my email out there too, and I hope to hear from you guys pretty soon. Love you guys, and you guys have an awesome day.